Yeah, I'm ready, baby.
Fate decided.
Welcome to the channel. What's up, everybody? Friday nights, the Lethal Collective. What's going on, guys?
What's
Happy
up?
Friday
What's up?
the 13th.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. Happy Friday 13th. Hopefully all you guys in the chat have been celebrating. And if not, this is the time to start, because I suppose starting right now, going until late night, one way or the other, all of us, the Lethal Collective, will be having some Friday the 13th live streams. So hopefully you guys can join us. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Wayne saying, can't make this because I'm working. Enjoy it all. Okay, Wayne. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, Wayne.
Shay and Denisha are in the chat. What's going on, y'all?
Hey.
What's up, Jen? How you doing, Jen? Bob's in the chat. All right. All right. Val's in the chat saying, happy Friday the 13th, everyone. All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. And Val, we had fun watching Friday 13th Part 2. that was really fun. Carrie's in the chat too. Let's see who else. I'm trying to catch up. Jason's in the chat. Jake's in the chat.
Jason.
All right.
Jason on Friday the 13th.
Oh,
that's scary. What?
Oh, you are witty. That was good. You caught me with that one. Anthony's in the chat too. What's going on? Stella's in the chat. All right. Okay, guys. So what do we got going on for tonight? Maverick too. What's up, Maverick? And Cody. What's up? What's up?
Well, I think we should remind everyone, just in case they weren't on Monday's episode, why we're only three of us here tonight.
Yeah.
Because just in case anyone was not here Monday, we made the announcement. No, Jake has not been kicked out of the collective. We've done that once. We're not going to do that a second time. Don't worry.
not
yet. Or at least, yeah, right. The next time will actually be for real. No, just kidding. So, no, he's busy making a movie, as you guys all know. He helped fund it, and he's making a movie, his Red Iron Hand film. It's going to take a couple of months to get it all finished up, and so primarily he's working with his actors and on the weekends. So he's going to be out of commission on the collective until July on Fridays. But don't worry. Mondays, the full collective will be intact every Monday afternoon. But for Fridays, from now through the end of June, it's going to be the trifecta of lethality and the Lethal Collective. How do you like that?
That was a mouthful.
Yes.
And that wasn't even planned either. That was on the spur of the moment. That's how my brain operates. This is bam.
That was good.
Yeah.
Trifecta.
I just want to add, we are only 8 subscribers away from 600. Let's hit 600 on this stream for Friday the 13th. So anybody, if you have social media, if you have anything, link this, tell them to subscribe, help us out. We're at 592.
Come
Let's
on,
get
guys.
to 600. You guys can help us to get to 600. And then we're only 400 away from 1,000. So we're right there. We need 8 more subscribers. If anyone is in this chat and you're not subscribed or just watching and maybe not in the chat, subscribe to the channel. Let's see it. I want to see it. Get it up.
Yes, get it up. And if you're not, and I got a question for you, Fate. If you haven't subscribed yet,
what are you doing?
What are you doing? Exactly.
If you subscribe, it's what we do. You know, it's what we do. It's what we do. You know.
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate that. Thank you. Glad you guys had fun.
Given that it's Friday the 13th, I thought, what better day than to talk? Friday the 13th. I mean, we could branch into other stuff too. But
yes,
I think that's at least a good place to start. Kind of our thoughts on what's to come. I mean, there's rumors that we might be getting a prequel or series or movie for Friday the 13th. Nothing's concrete, nothing's confirmed. But it's I mean, at least usually where there's smoke, there's fire. So maybe something's in the works. My concern with it all is that both parties, though the lawsuit's over, both parties still have to come to an agreement. You know what I mean? And that's where the problem still lies, because one owns the right to Jason, one owns the right to Friday the 13th. And so in order to get both the Friday the 13th with Jason, you need both of them. So Hopefully they can come to a conclusion. I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. You know, like,
Lots.
yeah, like quit being greedy, come to an agreement and make money. Because right now you're not making anything. And
That's
right
right.
now is like
Nope.
the prime time of horror, right? I mean, you got Halloween, you got the new Exorcist coming up, you're in the middle of Scream, you got all these requels and remakes and stuff that are all coming out. Like, you think now would be the perfect time to kind of reintroduce the Nightmare on Elm Streets, the Friday the 13th
Yes.
and stuff like that, and kind of ride that hype, especially with Halloween being at its end. You would imagine there's going to be a little hiatus for a couple years that you could slot in, a new Friday trilogy or something
That's
along
right.
those lines. So, what are your guys' thoughts? Knight, you want to start, or you want
I
Craven?
mean,
Knight, it looks like you're doing something. So
no, that's okay. I
all
was
right.
just double checking a message, but no, I mean, I think this is the perfect time for it to happen. And obviously, I'm a huge fan of the franchise. Days like today are pretty special for me as a horror fan. So, I mean, but we've been waiting since 2009, guys. We just
Yep.
we just did our episode on the remake or the reboot, whatever we want to call it. And when we were talking on the live with the audience, it's like, yeah, we've been waiting over a decade, And to be quite honest, now, the lawsuit is over, but there's still, shots being fired on both sides. And like you said, Fate, there's money to be had. This is a great time for this franchise to come back. So I'm all for anything that they can do. That's how desperate I am as a Friday fan. I'm desperate, whether it's a prequel, a TV show, a commercial, a Disney promo, whatever it can be. I want to see it, you know. But seriously, this is you can't have a better time than right now to do it. And the one thing I'm afraid of is if they wait too long, if we go into a phase where people might be a little, a little worn on the slasher genre, because we've
hmm
obviously had a lot of Halloween, we've had Scream, and so they got to do something. That's my bottom line. They really do. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in a lot of ways, I think that while people may get burned out, like you're saying, it also could work the other way too. Like this could
yeah,
resurrect a little bit. This may actually introduce new people that maybe
true.
weren't slasher fans before now, and all of a sudden Halloween's back. Scream is back after a 11-year hiatus, and then
Hmm.
so what we might find is that we actually see a spike in interest in
Yeah.
these kind of films, and not to mention again it wasn't that good, and poor Sally got treated as trash, literally on the trash pile. But Texas Chainsaw came out.
Yes.
We had X come out. You can make an argument that the slasher genre is in a resurgence period right now. And so, if I'm the makers of Halloween, not Halloween, if I'm the Friday the 13th folks behind the scenes, I would be wanting to meet and say, guys, the wave of slashers is back. Look at what's going on around us. Look at the money, the interest that these things are garnering. This is the time to do it. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, Fate. I'm going to tag that line,
We're all
but
gonna keep using it.
I mean, we're going to keep using it. I mean, he's going to start charging us royalties pretty much. But
Facts.
um,
I'm
but I'm
getting that
serious.
copyrighted.
Copyrighted.
would.
Oh gosh, yeah, you would. That's it. 5 cents per use or some 10 cents. But no, seriously, man, I really believe that it could work to their favor. That this could be the right time. The next couple of years we got Scream coming out next March still, and then we'll have. I really think we'll have a Scream 7 unless Radio Silence completely destroys the franchise with this next movie. If they do a decent job, we're going to get 7. And so, hey, man, and we already know there's a sequel for X coming. I mean, all these things and a prequel even. So I guess I look at it like this: it could be overkill, but I also like to think maybe we're getting some new slasher genre fans that we didn't have before. And so, if I'm involved, I'm saying let's go pedal to the metal, guys,
I
and get
agree.
something made.
I agree.
Yeah,
Chef saying if Disney and Sony can make an agreement on Spider-Man, these guys need to figure it out.
right.
That is
Facts.
so true.
That is
That's so
Because the
true.
money involved with that was like 10 times greater, you know? That is a good point though. I really agree. They really need to just because they're gonna both make money. That's the thing. Victor Miller, owns the rights to Friday the 13th, to Crystal Lake, and obviously Sean Cunningham to the adult Jason. And it's like, just let's work together, guys. Let's just work together. I really hope I hope they figure it out.
You're talking hundreds of millions of dollars that are
you
being left on the
are.
table.
Mm.
Like you're
You
talking,
really
like that's a
are.
lot of money. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
and I guarantee you, there are studios and all kinds of stuff that are just licking their chops at the opportunity to take
Yeah.
that franchise on. I mean, you're gonna make a ton of money. You know,
Yep.
I mean, it's just I don't understand why you wouldn't want to come to that conclusion. I don't know why
I
you wouldn't
agree.
like just say, hey, let's make this happen.
I agree.
Yep.
Hey, thanks, Bob. I appreciate that. Glad you had some fun.
I missed all of that funness. I've got to do a replay of that, man, and
Yeah.
fire it up, man. I missed it.
Fire it up.
Fire
That's
it
why
up.
night is my watch zone.
Yeah, oh, you're so funny. Jake saying,
Oh.
thanks, Fate. So colorful. What does it say?
So it's just like some company. I got it at like Ross. It's like it says Lura MFG Co. And it's just I just thought it was cool. It was like $12, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy this. So yeah, basically what it is on the front is the same thing as on the back. But thank you, I appreciate you. I try to take pride in my hoodies. I try to take pride.
Right.
Jason, if I have anything to do with it, the Iron Lady from Halloween Kills will be in every slasher movie ever made.
That's
I
right.
said the same thing on my live
That's
stream
right.
last night. Jason left a
Agreed.
comment. It was like, is Iron Lady confirmed for Scream 6? But I was like, if not, she needs to be.
She needs to
in
be.
every horror movie.
Yes.
Like, how funny would it be? I mean, a lot of people would be pissed off, but it would be hilarious. Imagine if Lori is just like, she's struggling with Michael. She's about to be killed, and then Iron Lady just comes and hits him across the head with the with the iron and saves her life, and then that's how it stops. Dude, I would be standing up cheering. I'd be like, yes!
Same. Yes.
Yes!
That would be
All
hilarious.
these
She'd be like, I
people-
got you that time.
Yeah. Who needs a gun? You got to give her like an awesome catchphrase. Like, that's what we
Yeah.
do. Something like that.
And, I didn't even need to plug it in
Yeah.
or something, or
The iron is hot.
my iron is hot.
Oh my god.
but-
too
And
funny.
real quick,
5 away, guys. I just gotta say
I
we're
was just
5
gonna say
away.
that. Way to steal
Yeah.
my thunder, Craven.
Oh, sorry, buddy. 5
Wow.
away. Go ahead,
I
man.
know.
Do it, man. Do it.
Please.
No, I was just gonna say, get it up. We're only 5 away. We're at 590. There it is. Get it up. We're 5 away, baby.
Yeah,
To 600. Come on, man. We can do this.
Let's do it.
And might I also add while I'm talking about numbers, guys, we're at 34 people on the stream. We only have 20 likes. That means 14
What are you
of you.
doing?
What are you doing?
What are you
14 of you haven't
doing?
smashed that thumbs up button. Come on, guys. You know it really helps the stream reach out to more people. And it lets us know that you're enjoying what we're doing here. So if you're having a good time, smash that
Right.
thumbs up button. And even if you're not, smash it in hopes that you will before the stream's over. All right? Put it on your
I like
credit.
that. That's right.
Let's get
extend
the-
us,
let's get it
extend
up.
us some credit, some stream credit,
Some stream credit.
and then someone will be like, "Oh, when are you going to pay it up?" I'll be like, "The check is in the mail."
Yeah, it is.
Because you know why? Because Knight is a righteous man.
Oh.
See, wait a minute. Now, I bet you were going to say something else, but you can't just throw it out there that quick.
Okay, hang on, wait. 3,
Hold on.
2.
Nah, no. It's over now, man.
Night. No, come on,
Knight is
man.
a righteous
All
man.
right, all right.
Baby, can you dig your man? He's a righteous man.
Oh Lord,
Oh
Man.
my gosh.
you
Gotta
are
be
my
quicker than
sunshine.
that.
I know.
No, but to kind of continue the trait, like, what are your guys' thoughts on like what you'd want to see for a Friday the 13th remake? Would you like a just complete remake? Would you like a continuation? Would you like something along the lines of like a requel? Maybe go back to maybe retcon it from part 2. So you still have
Yeah.
Jason in it, something like that. You still have the story because that's basically the remake of 2009
Yeah.
was a requel to the first, right? Because they even kind of gave you the flashback scene. Yeah, it
Yeah, I
wasn't the
mean,
actual-
Yeah, it was kind of a combination of the first
Mhm.
3,
Yeah.
because you had they showed a little bit of the of Pamela. I mean, that was only like a minute or two, but still they referenced it. And then you had that opening section before the opening credits, which was a really long It was like, I don't know, man, like 10 minutes. And I thought that those were the campers we were going to follow for the whole freaking movie. But but he had the sack. He had the sack on like in part 2, Sackboy Jason. But then he finds the hockey mask. Shout out to Shelley from Friday the 13th Part 3. But so it was a combination, and I thought it was actually it was pretty good as far as what they tried to do. You know what I'm saying? It was an interesting take on it. If you guys didn't see my stream on it, we just did it on Sunday. Check it out. But I think now you can't follow from the first 11, because they're out of order anyways. Basically, with Jason X, that takes place in the future, so that's kind of its own thing. So I'm not going to count that. But you can't follow. I don't think it would be a good idea to try to follow from Freddy versus Jason. I don't think it would be a good idea to try to follow after Jason Goes to Hell, or anything like that, or even Part 8. I think what they should do, and it's something that we also talked about as an episode of what we would want in a sequel. I think what they should do is pick one of the earlier sequels and go off from there. And I think that would be something that could be well received. You could still bring in a legacy character. And even if you didn't bring in a legacy character, you still have a lot of room where you can operate, because some of those movies, there was, years in between. You know what I'm saying? So if you were trying to really be specific with timeline, there's a lot of room. There's a lot of years that you could do some interesting stories. So that's what I think you should do.
What would be your ideal continuation point? Like 3, 4?
We talked about continuing after 6, because we wanted to see Tom Matthews come back as Tommy Jarvis, which obviously they've done that with fan films. And there's a lot of great Friday fan films, by the way. I mean, if you guys haven't seen them, like Never Hike Alone and so forth, stuff like that, Roseblood, there's some good stuff. But anyways, I think it'd be good to go after 6, because you could incorporate Tommy. Or, if you wanted to have a younger Tommy and not use Tom Matthews from 6, you could follow after 4. Because there was a gap in between 4 and 5, and you could still follow a younger Tommy and change the story up. In other words, don't follow what 5 did, 5 and 6, like a new timeline from 4, and then create your new timeline. I think that would be pretty interesting. But people also talk about doing a prequel, talking about Pamela, before the events of the first movie. And although I think that would be interesting, I don't know how well received it would be from the fan base, because Jason is the franchise now. Jason became the franchise, right after 1. So it's an interesting thing. That's why I'm going to be really interested to see what they come up with, and I hope it's going to be good. I really do.
Well, even if they did a prequel, like how would you really go about that? I mean, like what type of prequel? If you did a prequel to like before Jason was drowned,
right,
and you have the counselor stuff, how does that become a slasher movie?
Well, exactly.
Like, like that's just basically a camp story.
Yeah. I mean, unless they did something really wacky where the movie took place in two time periods, like have a little bit of Pamela, before the events of the first movie, and showing some things, even stuff that they've talked about and alluded to over the years in scripts, and obviously stuff outside of the movies, like Jason's father, Elias. If they came up with something, if they executed it correctly, and they told a little bit of Pamela's story in one time period, and also a time period where Jason is, grown, full grown, or whatever, maybe that could be interesting too. You know
what could work is like if they did like a Fear Street style. Remember where that was like 3 parts? Maybe you have part 1 be the Pamela story. You have that whole story, like the prequel. Part 2 is like the her being the killer, revenging her son's death, and then part 3 is the Jason introduction, Jason killing everybody. And you could even have that lead into your film, and just kind of have your film be the jumping off point from that series. I think something like that could work. But what are your thoughts, Craven, on everything?
So I am a fan of the prequel, not a prequel, of a kind of. Okay, so here's what I'd like to see. I would like to see a complete reboot, if you will, of the first movie that has the murder mystery aspect to it. And here's what I would do. I would unlike here's what here in my mind. Here's how I'm just going to say what's on my mind, not how. I'm just going to say it out straight up. So what I'd like to see is the movie where we're at camp and Jason is there. All right, Jason is there, and we see. So it's, I guess it is a bit of a prequel, but it's not a full blown prequel because Jason is there, and we see all that goes down with him at the camp, and then we see him murdered at the camp, whatever he dies, what have you. And what I would like to see then is, and you could do it a couple different ways. One of the ways could be where it's all about a murder mystery of who killed Jason. So in other words, we don't know who killed Jason. We got a dead body, and we know it's someone at the camp, but we don't know who. And instead of killing all these counselors, we don't know who did the killing. It's a total mystery, and it's a squeamish type whodunit. And we could even have his mother involved, but if she's involved, it would be a Debbie Salt kind of thing. There would be another accomplice that would be involved with this too that we don't expect. I know you may say, well, you're just copying Scream 2. Maybe, but it's to me, it would be an interesting story. And it would be a way to make it fresh and new. And this way and then at the very end, you kind of end with that classic ending. We get Jason. We basically tease that now from this point forward, we're going to move on. So it's kind of a remake of the first one, but you just take some additional story elements to it and make it a new Friday the 13th. Or you could call it, if they can't get the name, just call it Jason, here we go.
Jason Resurrection.
Jason, I was going to say Jason Bourne, but that's hilarious. Yeah. But like Born. But yeah, something like where that's it, exactly. And that's how we do it. And if they can't do the mother, like if it's too close to the original, if that's an issue with the rights or whatever, then make it the father or make it an uncle. I don't care. You can always find someone in the family to meet the mastermind behind this and getting revenge and incorporating someone new. So it would be a very squeamish. And I'll tell you what, if they did it this way, personally, this is just my own thoughts on it, I would be like so ecstatic for this movie. Like I would be on cloud 9 to see the movie unfold like that. So that's what I want.
No, I understand, but to kind of like expand on like what you're saying and maybe not to like that full degree, because like personally, I feel like the same way. It's like you're kind of making it Scream rather than Friday the 13th. That'd be my only concern with it. But the idea of like remaking a Jason movie, like just starting from scratch. Like you don't even have to incorporate Mrs. Voorhees, right? Like what if you just started and just told like keep the Camp Crystal Lake because that's kind of like synonymous with Jason, and then you just have Jason Voorhees and you just tell an entirely new story. Maybe Jason is like of the land or something, and he like, or maybe the place is haunted and cursed, and every time somebody comes on the camp, Jason is like the evil, vengeful spirit that whatever the case may be. Just throwing things out there, but just tell a different story using Jason. What's going on? And and just because I mean the only thing that really I think you need to keep intact is Jason and like I said, Crystal Lake. Outside of those two things, I think you could pretty much do whatever you want. I mean, Friday the 13th has pretty much done that to begin with, right? We've gotten so far removed from, the original Friday the 13th and part 2 and stuff. Like at this point, like, just I it's something I've wanted with a lot of these. Like I've even said the same thing with Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff like that. Like, why don't you just tell a new story? Like, like even with Freddy, you keep Freddy Krueger, you keep you keep the dream idea, because that's basically the same thing. Crystal Lake is the dream world for Jason or for Freddy, and you basically tell an entirely new story. Then you don't have to worry about things like especially with Nightmare on Elm Street. then in that case, you don't have to compete with Robert Englund because it's an entirely new story. But what do you guys think about like doing a like just telling a whole new story with Friday the 13th?
I'd be up for it. I mean, if again, if they have an idea that really works and it still has the Friday the 13th flavor, you know what I mean? Like to me, and I love all the movies and well, I'm not going to say what's my favorite because I'm going to be doing that on the live stream. We're ranking the whole franchise, but we watched part 2, and the thing that was really interesting about part 2 was it just had this ambiance. It was just creepy, and if they could get back to that type of vibe, that would be really, really cool. And obviously, if the script is good and you've got good characters, I'd be all up for them telling a new story in that universe, that world, like, and I think what you mean, Fate, is, you could kind of take liberties with the characters as far as Jason or his mythology, but it's still a Friday the 13th movie, and trying to be still true to what a Friday the 13th movie is. And you just kind of ignore, a lot of the stuff you want to ignore. If they did that, I'd be okay with it. I really would. I think that would actually be a really interesting way for them to go.
Mm-hmm.
Craven?
100%. I agree 100%. I'm with you, Knight. I'm all for just completely new story, and I think Fate was right too. Let's keep Crystal Lake in it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep that sense of history and legacy. But let's just go with something really creative. I mean, people, we clamor all the time about, on our channels and here together, about how we want Radio Silence to make a Radio Silence Scream movie in 6.
Right.
Like, where they did their respects for Wes, and I thought they respectfully did that well. Yeah. And so they're not just going to forget the legacy that Wes left, because it needs to be a Scream movie. I think it's going to have the meta, the mystery, all those elements. But I think we all agree that we want to see what they can do now from their own position of creativity, without feeling an obligation where, in this sequence we have to make sure we do this how Wes would do it.
Right.
And I want to see them do their own. I think the same can be said here. And whoever does this new project, if there is one, hopefully, that they come in with these fresh eyes that says, we respect the legacy of this franchise. We respect what's been done. Now, some of them have been rough, but
yes.
They're all generally fun, generally speaking. So that's good. But now let's not to say the word elevate because it's so overused, but let's elevate it and make it our own story. Fresh story, fresh ideas, new type of kills, a new type of all this stuff. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I'd be excited to watch it for sure. I'd almost rather see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if they went the whole what is it? Friday the 13th? Is it part 5 where it's not Jason, but it's somebody pretending to be him?
Yeah.
How would you like if they did that? But because the way they went about it was terrible. But like, what if they went like a copycat route? Is that something you just be like? Sorry.
I think that for the first movie that's going to come out in well over a decade, it has to be Jason. Now that might be something they can play around with later. Although I think they'd be playing with fire, because 5, although 5 has gotten a lot more respect in recent years, 5 was just lambasted for so long, and not so much because people thought it was a bad movie, but just because they were like, well, that's not Jason. And well, you guys know I interviewed Melanie Kinnaman. She was Pam in 5, and she talked about how she would go to conventions and people would literally be rude to her or say, well, you're not a real final girl because you didn't face the real Jason, and all this different type of stuff. And she just said basically, look, it was a guy with a machete, and so forth and so forth. But in other words, I guess what I'm saying, I'm being long-winded, but what I'm saying is I think, we waited for over a decade for a new Friday the 13th. So I think they would be smart to make sure that it's Jason, and then, like I said, down the road or down the line, if they find a better way to present it, you know what I mean? Like maybe there's an imposter Jason, but the real Jason isn't dead. So you kind of you have two Jasons or something like that.
I was thinking something along the lines of like while you were talking, it popped in my head was like, like you have a movie where somebody's pretending to be Jason. Everyone thinks Jason's dead.
Yes.
He's running around trying to, keep the legend alive or whatever. And you could even have kind of like what Craven, you could even go kind of a little bit of the route of what Craven's saying, have like that whodunit mystery. And it's like, maybe it's one of the camp counselors or something. And, it's Dawn and the Jason mask. Everyone thinks Jason's alive. Turns out that it's this guy. Maybe he slaughters everybody and he thinks he's getting away with it, goes to leave. And the real Jason shows up and, slaughters him, chops his head off, whatever, and then that sets up Jason is alive type thing,
right?
But yeah, that was something that just popped in my head while you did it. But sorry, go on, Nate.
No, that was pretty much it. I just think that if we're gonna have a new movie, it's got to be the real Jason, and then let's say I won't get ahead of myself. We need at least one movie. I was going to say if they do a trilogy, but personally, I'm not up for the copycat thing. It just, on paper. Now, again, if they did it in an interesting way, and maybe there was a copycat in the movie for a third of the movie or whatever, but the real Jason is alive, and we're seeing 2 different kills and all that type of stuff. Maybe that could be interesting. But to be quite honest, I don't know. I'd have to really think that one through. What do you think, Stephen?
Yeah, I am not a fan of the copycat thing, just for most of the reasons you said, Knight, really. I mean, and I remember her on your interview, guys. I was, watched the interview that you did. Which was, by the way, guys, was fantastic. And if anyone here on the stream has not seen Knight's interview, you guys need to go on his channel after this is over. Well, he's got a live stream coming up too, so you don't want. But anyway, if you can't watch it before his live stream, he's got coming up. Tag it for later and watch it because Knight did a great job in the crew of the interview. It was really enjoyable. So I that's the first thing I thought of when Fate brought it up was remembering those comments she made and how unwell it was received and the overall fandom of the 13th fandom. So I think that you really. If I'm a filmmaker, let's just say, and I'm stepping into this after all this time, the last thing I want to do is model my film after the one that a lot of the fans hate. Because I'm afraid, even if I write it really well, even if the 3 of us sat down and wrote it and made a masterful script in our own minds, and a story, we would already be under the gun because we know when the reveal comes, dude. You know what's going to happen. There's going to be so many people that are going to be so mad. So I think I would rather just see a real Jason story, really with Jason, and just make it fun, make it current, and just write it where the really. And I know a lot of times slasher movies aren't the most intricate of stories, which is one reason why I love the Scream movies so much because, I mean, it's not rocket science, but it's also not dumb fodder. It's actual thinking involved in this. In these movies, it's a little deeper level, in my opinion. So I would like to see a smart Friday the 13th movie again, where there's layers to it, and the whodunit layer to me adds that. It's not just black and white. Here's Jason. You just got to get away from him. Right. There's more in play than just that. Yeah, that's what I'm a fan of.
I agree. I totally agree.
Real quick, yes. If like Carrie's comment was saying. Trying to get to 600. We're still at 595. We've been stuck at 595. Get it up. We need 5 more subscribers. Help us out. Get 5 more subscribers. Not just that, but we have 44 people in this chat, and we have how many? 27 likes.
Oh, what? What are you kidding me?
Fate, hit us. Likable enough for you?
Hit us, Fate.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Clearly, we're not likable enough. We need to ramp this likability up a little bit because
I guess.
So.
I mean, maybe we should just end the stream now because if there's half of our audience is not enjoying this, then maybe we should just shut it down for the day and say goodnight.
They hate us.
They hate us.
They do.
43 people with 29 likes. That's insulting. That's horrible.
It hurts.
Man, what a downer. Come on, guys. Let's get it up. Hey, Fate. I mean, Knight. Sorry. Give me Stu. We need Stu's help. Stu bringing back Stu here. Come on. There it is. Let's get it up. Come on, guys. Just smash that like up button. It takes less than 2 seconds to click it. Come on.
Get up! Yeah, man, get up! Hit it!
Yes.
Get it up.
It's what we do. That's right, Carrie.
96. We need 4 more subscribers.
Oh, come on, guys.
4 more, and we're at 600. Let's make it happen. 4 more subscribers.
We are almost at 600.
They hate us because they ain't us. That's
feel
right, Anthony. Right. They hate us because they
I already hit the like button.
I can't hit the like button any further.
I love it, Shay. What am I supposed to do? I'm hitting it like over and over.
What can I do?
I can't hit the like button any harder.
I'm feeling all woozy.
Woozy. Carrie says tentacle energy. That's right, man. Get it up.
That's right. Hate us because they hate us.
Oh,
he needs to take off his muscle shirt. That's right. That'll get us the subscribers and the likes. Let's do that.
Oh, 600 tentacles. That's incredible. Could you imagine that?
Yeah.
That's right. 600.
Yeah, man.
That's a lot of That's a giant octopus. Let me
That
tell
is
you.
we're talking like monster movie level now.
Right?
That's Cthulhu.
Now Emma's got a good point, guys. She says Knight needs to take off his muscle shirt. Knight, you know what? I've always said you topless would get us to 1,000 subs in like 10 minutes.
Overnight.
It would
That's
happen.
A viral video.
Oh yeah, it's out
viral.
The way. Absolutely.
You know what we need? We need what would really get us viral is Knight stands up, he goes to take off his shirt, and then water just comes pouring down on top of him
In slow motion.
His shirt off.
Slow-mo.
Man, could you imagine how many views we'd get? My God,
bro, get an uplight on you, an uplight, so that it's like glistening on your skin, and it's just like
it's because Killjoy Jake isn't here.
No,
probably is.
Definitely not it.
Oh man.
But, or recreate, what is it, Flashdance or whatever, where he's like,
yes,
yeah, like that commercial for Gain. Where the guy in the laundromat. I love that commercial, man.
That's what we need.
What a feeling. Dun, 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 dun. There it comes. Right down.
Wow.
And then Knight, you got to do the whole flex in each arm, like slow motion of each arm, like the muscles just bulging.
Something else is bulging thinking about that.
Oh.
Wow. All right.
Thank God we don't have an HR department. Otherwise, Knight would
they'd have fired us.
There tomorrow.
Dude.
Knight would be like, look, this fake guy sexually harassed
this guy, this son of a
gets.
bitch.
Every chance he gets, I'm just a piece of meat to him.
I mean, essentially, we'd have so many complaints filed against us. We'd be on last warning now for our jobs.
I know, right? Like, look.
Hostile work environment.
We're not going to warn you yahoos again, okay?
Basically.
But all right, sticking on track.
Yeah, let's get back on track.
Now I'm just flustered and red and need a new pair of panties.
Get it up.
Get it up. Oh, look at that. That's a Coke commercial right there, a Pepsi commercial. God. Sorry. Can't get you out of my head.
4 subs, people. 4.
Yes, 4 more subscribers.
We're 4 tentacles.
Let's
4
see
tentacles.
4 tentacles. HR would be from The Office. Yeah.
Would be what? HR would what?
HR would be from The Office. But, yeah. We or HR would agree with me. Would be like, Knight would go in and HR would just be like, do you blame them?
That's funny.
Like, be thankful, Knight.
All right.
But anyway, Friday the 13th.
Someone says, Ernie says, thoughts on New Blood.
Friday the 13th.
I like New Blood. That's the 7th one. I like it.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Any particular thoughts?
I mean,
a lot of people at first were kind of iffy on it when it first came out for a while.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's not like great. Like, I wouldn't put it up there as like great. I mean, I was gonna say like let's do our rankings, but Knight's gonna do it, so I don't want to take that away.
That's right. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't put it up there as one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I would I put X up there as one of my favorites just because it's so terrible. It's great. It's just such a guilty pleasure of mine. Like, I love it. Like, I love that movie. even like Jason Takes Manhattan is a bit of a guilty pleasure for me, just because like I like it's so over the top and ridiculous. Like when the guy gets his head punched off and stuff, and like
yes, total guilty pleasure.
Have Jason like holding onto the boat as it's like drifted away. Like it's just it makes me happy, but it is.
And how did they get from Crystal Lake to New York anyways? Come on.
Good question.
One boat trip.
Well, the
you
director,
don't need explanation. It's a Friday the 13th movie.
The director even said, "Yeah, you know, we just kind of jumped a little logic there." It's like, no shit.
Really? I just like another thing that I love about Jason X is like it fully leans into like the stereotype of Friday the 13th. Like when they're trying to distract them, like, oh, I got it. It's like, you want to get high, you want to smoke some pot. It takes the tops off and then he's just bashing them in the sleeping bag against the tree.
Yes.
Every time I see that scene, I crack up. Like when I just see them just getting pummeled in the bag, and they're just
and all you go is yeah, that is funny.
But
Kane said the sleeping bag kill was his favorite kill, although I think he was referencing the one from 7 rather than X. But I mean, they're both sleeping bag kills where he slams them against the tree. But I think he was referencing he meant this from part 7.
Well, 2009 too. You had a sleeping bag kill, right?
That's true too. That was bad. I mean, good, bad in a good way. I was like, oh my god, man, because I saw that in the theater, and when he put her above the fire, and she was just getting cooked. I was just like, wow, that is new level.
I like the tone that they took with the remake. I actually enjoyed the remake. I mean, there were little things that were ridiculous, like what's Panabaker's character's name? I can't remember.
God, you would ask Jenna.
There you go. Thank you, Jenna. I asked you because you just did this the other day, so I was like, oh please. But Jenna, like Jenna just leaves her friend and her boyfriend to go with this mysterious. I mean, it's Jared Padalecki. I mean, have you seen that guy? That guy is God. I would leave my girlfriend, my wife, to go with Jared Padalecki. Don't get me wrong, but like but yeah, like it was just like random. She was just like, "You want me to go with you?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, like, yeah, sure."
Although, you know, if you're trying to make any sense of it, Trent was a dick.
He was
like the ultimate, man. He was so hated that like when he got killed in the theater, people were like cheering, like, finally, that son of a bitch got it, you know. And it's like, yeah, he really did his job, you know, with that role as far as making you really hate him.
Yeah, buy into it. But I did overall. I really enjoyed it. I like I like the tone of that. It was a little darker. Got back. I love that Jason ran.
Yes.
Like that's always been something that's driven me crazy about the franchise. Like Jason, like doesn't run, he just teleports.
Right.
Like you see him slow crawl into you, and you're right at full speed, and next thing you know, he's in front of you. So I love that he like ran. He was brutal, like everything. And you know, I like they pretty much explained everything, like pretty well in that movie. You know, I loved how like the whole movie was centered around like stealing Jason's pot, like don't touch his crop. Like that was basically the whole thing. Like even the guy in the barn gets it, and he's like trying to sell his crop and stuff, and Jason just comes and gets him. I was just like, this is great. Like that whole premise was like cracking me. I was like, really? Like I wonder how intentional that was. You know, I had to have been intentional based on everything there was, but I wonder if it just kind of like they were like, oh, it would be funny if like they had this and then they were killed. And plus 2009, that's when they had like the like when they were like campaigning for all the pot laws and stuff and trying to make it like legal everywhere and stuff. So it made sense that would kind of be the approach that they'd go. But, yeah, I thought that was something I always thought was funny. I was just like, don't mess with Jason's crop.
Here's the thing that's funny to me though is that Marcus Nispel, who directed the remake, he also directed the Texas Chainsaw remake with Jessica Biel. You know, and part of the plot of that film was they went down there looking for some pot. So it's like it's kind of funny that both movies had a huge plot point with pot.
I
like
think
they
we know
go,
who might be a pothead.
well, there, yep, exactly. This director is a pothead.
Yeah,
So
for
yeah,
sure. Yeah, no, it is. I mean, I like the remake overall. I liked
yeah.
how I like the the thing that always drives me crazy. The one thing I don't like
Mm-hmm.
is I don't like when they like Jason's running. You think she's about to die. They did the same thing in Scream. Think he's about to die, and then they cut away right at the last moment. I don't know why, but that stuff like drives me crazy. Like I would have rather, especially with Friday the 13th, I would have rather seen him stop. Like maybe she goes like this, he sees her face, and then just stops, and then you just see him dragging her through the woods to his little dungeon or whatever, and just throws her in there and changes her. Like that would have been a great scene to have. And then maybe he slams the door, and that's when it goes black.
Yeah.
Like something like that. I think would have been cool. Because, like, yeah, I mean, it was cool to find out later that she was still alive, but overall, like, I thought it was one of the better remakes. I thought, like, they had some cool elements with Jason and stuff like that. You were mentioning on your stream how, like, the sack, it wasn't really like a sack. It was almost, I think was it you or Kill that said,
I think it was
like,
Kill that
like
was
rap,
saying it. Yeah,
that it was like a rap. It wasn't like
Yeah.
an actual, like, sack, like in 2. Which I thought was pretty interesting too.
Yeah.
I to kind of quote Killjoy Jake since he's not here. I've always wanted to see like Jason living off the land. I said Michael because the talk was about Michael when he said this, and just seeing him like killing deer, or eating rats, or like whatever, and just kind of see him like stalking people. Like maybe like he just has like something and he's just like rips it off while he's looking at like the camp people or something. I think that'd be kind of cool. But
that would,
yeah, because he's always just been this guy that's just like he's just lived off the wilderness, right?
Yeah,
like as a little kid. Like you don't need an explanation.
Well, I think that was one thing that was kind of interesting about the reboot is that they showed they gave you a little bit more insight to him. You know what I'm saying? Because like you saw his room, his little shack or whatever, his little bedroom still had a little child's bed with Jason written on it. And you saw it was in total disarray. Obviously, you saw his underground lair. You saw all his tools. He obviously was. I guess what I'm saying, and some people don't like that because when we did our stream, there were a lot of people that said, I don't want to understand, Jason. I don't want an explanation of how he does things or where he's come from type of thing. But I thought it was interesting, because they didn't go too deep into it to take away from the story, but they definitely had the breadcrumbs. You could see that he had all these weapons, and you also saw that he was making weapons. So personally, being a fan of the franchise since I was a little kid and seeing all the movies, I actually liked it, and it didn't take away anything for me. But again, different folks have different ideas. So that's why I'm really interested to see what they're going to come up with the next movie, because there's a lot of different ways they could go. There's a lot of different ways they could go. And I'm just hoping that they, even though, they might be feeling like, well, let's hurry up and do this thing as soon as the deal is made or whatever. I just hope they still take their time and do something that's worthy. That's my biggest hope. I mean, when Halloween 2018 came out, there was a lot of hype about it, but nobody really knew how it was going to turn out.
Yeah.
Until we saw it. And when I saw it, I was like, holy shit, they did a pretty good job with this. They took their time and respected the mythology. So, anyways.
Get a Friday the 13th kills.
people
were saying in my live stream yesterday, they're like, they should call it Scream Kills. We're still at 96. 96. We still need 4 more subscribers. Let's make it happen. Let's get it up.
Wow.
4 more subscribers. I'd love to see it before we have to wrap up the stream.
That's right.
And we're at 39 likes. Let's get to at least 40. I don't like those 9. Like, I need that round number. I need that beautiful round number. So if you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button. What's going on, Alex?
Hey, Alex.
Being here. But Craven, what are your thoughts on the 2009 remake? Did you enjoy it? Did you love it? Did you hate it?
Yeah, it was okay. It was fine, man. I mean, I lean towards, believe it or not, either liking what I consider to be masterpiece level. Not no, that I shouldn't say that because there's very few that are that level. But like you're really really amazingly well done movies or the campier kind of stuff. And so like for me, if you ask me like what my favorite 13ths are, like I love the original, of course. Probably is my favorite actually, the very first one. And then after that, and you're gonna love this, Fate, but I go straight to Jason 10, man, because I
Nice.
think it
Nice.
is great. It
I love
is.
that movie.
It's so much fun, dude. It's
It
like,
is.
It
I mean,
is.
that's a movie I can just turn on and just have. I can laugh. I can enjoy it. It's just it's totally guilty pleasure, and I'm the first one to defend Jason 10 because I'm like
Hmm.
nothing wrong with Jason X. So, and then Jason Takes Manhattan. Again, these are guilty pleasure movies, man, and I think they're hilarious and they're fun. And I like that.
Yeah.
So, I would much rather watch one of those kind of just crazy, over the top Friday the 13th or the original than I
Hmm.
would the remake or some of these other ones where I just, I mean, like I say, with doing the whole psychic powers,
Hmm.
with Tina, right, and
Yeah.
some of that. I mean, it's fine. I just give me straight up insanity, and I'll take that, or a masterpiece level type. And that first one, again, I don't know that I would even call it a masterpiece, but it's really good. And you
Yeah.
got to consider the time it was done in.
Yes.
That's a huge part of why
Yes.
that movie to me is so good.
Yes.
And
And that's a great
yeah,
point.
yep,
Because, watching the first one, and like I said, we just had a watch along of the second one, and you can really see how good of a movie both of them were.
yep, yeah,
Even the first four. Let's just count the first four because that
hmm,
was in that golden era of slasher films. From
true,
80 to 84. And as you well know, Steven, and obviously Fate, too. I've watched a lot of slasher movies from that time period, and I'm telling you, man, there were some that were just so bad. It's just, and
yes,
it's not to make fun or be disrespectful, but they just didn't have that level of craftsmanship that
mm-mm.
you saw in Friday 1, 2, 3, and 4. In all four movies, and I'm just picking the first four, but in all four movies, you had good music, you had good sound design, you had good kills, you had good practical effects, you had likable characters, you had good cinematography, you had good
Yep,
lighting, and on and on and
exactly.
on. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of slasher movies from that time period. And even after it, which is even more scary, that, and some of it was budget, but then again, these Friday movies weren't it didn't have big budgets either. So all I'm saying is that they were very well made.
Hmm.
And like you said, masterpiece in the sense of what it is for when it was made.
Yes,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yep.
And I totally agree. Totally, totally, totally. Because I've seen some really crappy slasher movies.
Oh, dude.
I'm
As you
telling you.
say, and I've adopted your term, Knight, dark territory.
Yes,
When I now use that, I'm like, we're going to this is dark territory
it
because
is.
because when I hear you say that, dude, I know
Yeah.
we're about to hear some spewed vomit. It's
Yeah,
like it's going to
man.
be something bad, bro. Like,
Yes.
we
Yes.
start talking about some of these movies. What was that? Like, there's so many I can't even remember the names, but
Yeah. Don't
yeah,
go in the
it's
woods.
don't go in the
Good night.
woods. Go
Good
ahead.
night. God bless.
Student
Blood cult.
bodies.
Student bodies. Although, and to
Ah,
be fair, because
yeah.
Coriander always gets on me about student bodies. I didn't like it either. One of my good friends, she has a channel too, Jennifer Tochi. She loves that movie. She was in the live stream. She's like, I
Yeah,
like this movie though, and I was like, hey, that's perfectly fine. But it was meant to be a parody.
it
It was
was.
it was
That's
meant to
true.
be funny. So
Good point.
it's
It's
kind of on
different.
its own. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
different. You're right.
It
It's
was.
different.
I still
And
didn't
there's
like
some
it though,
moments
but
in that aren't bad, actually.
yeah, there's a couple moments.
There's a couple moments, but the dark territory are these ones that, like you said, they're trying to be good. Like they're trying to
Yeah.
be a serious horror movie,
Hmm.
and I don't understand how some of these get funded. Some of these
Yeah.
old movies got funded, man. I just don't
Hmm.
know if someone was a trust fund baby and just I'm going to do
Yeah.
it myself or what
Well,
it is. But
yeah.
dude,
I mean,
it's
some of
rough.
them they just had, the money. They had people that were, would invest in it because at the
Yep.
time you literally could make a slasher movie,
Hmm.
for a couple mil, and usually. usually you could make that back. You could get
Yeah.
because that's what the Friday movies were doing.
Mm-hmm.
All 8, the first 8, which were all from Paramount, they call it the Paramount 8. All of those movies were making nice profit. Even Manhattan, which was, at the lower end, but it still made money.
Yep.
And so, a lot of people just said, hey, if I can get a couple $1,000,000 together, get a group of friends or a couple of, actors that I can pay a little bit of money to and make this horror movie, I can make some money and then build and build it. I mean, that's exactly what Bob Shea did at New Line with Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? Think about New Line Cinema.
They were near bankruptcy. They were about to file bankruptcy. Seriously,
yes,
they had made no money. They had nothing, and they got this script from Wes Craven, and I don't know how much they paid for it, but they didn't pay enough. Whatever they paid Wes for that script, but
that's right.
But they and I call it like, they often say New Line was Freddy's franchise. And I say no, it was Wes's franchise. I mean, not franchise. Wes's studio.
Yeah, it was a studio that Wes built.
That Wes built. Thank you, Fate. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, it's the studio that Wes built. I mean, he really did. If it wasn't for him, that they were done. They were
done.
sinking ship with no hope of filling the holes. And
they were.
Here comes this new ship that just sails up and says, "Hey, look at what we got here."
Fortunately, Wes was smart because Bob Shea, was very crafty. He used to, travel around and, he's got movies in his trunk and he's trying to get them distributed and stuff like that. So he was a hustler. And when he said, okay, we'll do the movie, but we're basically going to, buy the rights and all that type of stuff. Wes was smart. Bob Shea was smart. At the end, when Wes wanted the ending to not have the stinger, I actually did a video on this. He didn't want a stinger. He wanted it to be more open-ended and alluding to Freddy still being alive, even though Nancy, quote unquote, defeated him or killed him or whatever. And Bob Shea said, "No, we gotta have a stinger. We gotta keep it open for a franchise." And Wes said, "There is no franchise. There's just this one movie."
Exactly.
And they kind of went back and forth. And ultimately, Wes said, "Okay, let's try to make let's meet each other in the middle." And that's what they did for the ending and so forth. And it worked out for Wes because that obviously skyrocketed his career, and it worked out for Bob Shea and New Line Cinema, who years later would be the studio that had Lord of the Rings, one of the biggest movies, biggest trilogies of all time. Can you believe that? And it all started with Wes.
It did.
Totally
did. The name New Line would have been lived in infamy of horror from the 80s. And it would have been just one we look back on as a failed studio, and that put out these slasher movies back in the early days. But no, now look, I mean, it's just incredible, man. And you can make the same. You can make it's not even like a hyperbole. The same thing for Dimension and Miramax with the Weinsteins, man.
Yep.
I mean, he basically put that label, that studio, on the map with Scream 1. And I mean, my gosh, they gave him $14 million to make the first Scream film, turned it into a masterpiece, making 160, I think 64 million, 65 million, and then the rest is history, as we know. But yeah, I mean, it's incredible what he's done.
Cash cow. He was their cash cow.
He was.
The Weinsteins. I mean, every time they were in a financial situation, he came out with a new movie. Like literally, that's one of the reasons they came out with Scream 4 was because they were in trouble, they were hurting, they were struggling, and they hoped that Scream 4 would pull them out the gutter a little bit more, and they wanted to do a new trilogy, thinking, hey, we do a new trilogy, we'll make all this money, we'll get it back, and Scream 4 didn't have the box office success that they had hoped, and
mainly due to their own fault, honestly, in my opinion.
It is. They didn't even promote the movie, nothing. No. Like,
it's terrible.
I didn't even know that movie came out. Granted, I was at a different time in my life. I didn't have my finger on the pulse and stuff like that as I did back then. But it's still one of my favorite horror franchises back then. I still feel the same way about it back then as I do now. And I didn't even know that movie was coming out till literally maybe a month or a couple weeks before the movie came out. Like I just remember going to the theaters to see something else, and I saw a poster, and I was like, "They're making this movie. There's a Scream 4 coming out." And I was like, wow. And then I looked it up and I was like, no shit, they really are.
Same here.
Like, I haven't heard that anywhere. And it's just
terrible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was awful. I could not believe I've never seen such a poor job. I found out after it was released. It was showing when I found out. I said, wait a second. hold up a minute. I'm like, I stopped the brakes like immediately. I never will forget, and went online immediately and like, there it is. It's actually it's really Wes Craven back. And of course, I was there the next day, to see it. But I'm telling you, if they would have given a half decent effort marketing that movie, that thing would have done so much more, I believe, so much better in the box office, and we would have gotten a new Wes Craven trilogy. And we can't do anything about it now, but can you imagine if we could look back now and have 6 Wes Craven Scream movies, dude?
Right.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the conversations we would have and discussions about those 6 instead of 4? It's just, oh man, it's really a shame because you don't get a chance to have a legend make a film like that, very often, very rarely, and they had a chance to do it and they didn't. They didn't properly market that film for awareness, to bring awareness to it, and I believe that personally, that's the single-handed biggest reason we didn't get a new trilogy from Wes, because of that, the studio's own fault.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hate that. It bugs me.
Absolutely agree.
Bueno. 600.
Absolutely.
We are at 600 people.
Yes.
Whoa!
And that was perfect timing.
600.
Oh my gosh, thank goodness.
There it is, 600.
Wow.
600.
Thank you guys
Look
so
at that.
much.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Gorgeous.
Guys.
Gorgeous.
Teamwork makes
Thank
the
you.
dream work.
It does. For everyone, thank you. Whoever subscribed, thank you. Can you believe we're only 400
We're right
away?
there.
We
Who
are
would've
like,
thought?
that's incredible, man.
We need 4
400
more
more.
likes. We need 4 more likes to get to 50. We're about to close it out here. Let's
Oh,
see.
no.
There's
Yeah.
got to
Let's
be
do this
4 of you
thing.
that didn't hit that like button based on all the viewers that are in. Let's see it. Let's get it.
Come
Let's
on,
get
guys.
it up.
50
Get it up.
likes.
47.
Let's see
We're
it.
47.
47.
There you
We
go.
need 3 more likes. Let's get it. Get it up. Get
3
it up.
more.
quick.
So,
Oh, it's
Steven-
yeah. Okay, go ahead. What's up,
No,
Nate?
I was gonna remind you about what you wanted to do for your announcements.
Oh,
before we
real
end.
quick. Yeah. I have a couple of announcements, so I guess I'll go in chronological order since one's tonight, one's tomorrow night. So for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, at 9:30 Central, basically 3 hours and 15 minutes from now, I'm going to have on my channel what I'm calling a Scream 6 Mega Party live stream. Guys, it is going to be insane. I have I think it's 7 guests that are joining me right now on the stream, and it may be up to 9, 8 or 9. We'll see how the night goes, and we're going to go, I'm guessing, depending on how the stream goes, my plan is we're going late. We're going till 3, 4 in the morning tonight. I have planned ahead. All my guests have planned ahead. We're going to have games. We're going to play interactive games with you in the live chat. We're going to be talking Scream 6, all the news, all the stuff this week. Guys, it's going to be a party. It's going to be insane. And for any of you that were on my stream last Friday night, where we went till after 4 a.m., it's going to be very similar to that. I've got video clips of new clips that I'm making. And guess what, guys? Tonight I'm debuting a new clip, a new Stew Train clip, where we're going to hear from Matthew Lillard himself. You don't want to miss it. So tonight, 9:30 Central, it's going to be a mega party. And then finally, tomorrow night at 9:15 Central, I've got a watch-along party for Scream 5. I've never done a watch party for it yet on the channel. And here it is. Nancy Ann Ritter, you know her as the girl in the bathroom. She's coming back for a 3rd time on the channel, and she will be there for the entire film. We're going to watch Scream 5, and she's never seen it. First time watch for Nancy. We're going to watch it, and then she's going to hang out for at least an hour for any Q&A, anything you want to talk about from Scream 1 or Scream 5, whatever. And of course, no, she wasn't in Scream 5, we know, but she can answer any of your questions about her thoughts on the movie, and then, of course, her experience with Wes and all the stories. Trust me, one thing I've learned from Nancy in 2 sessions and chats and phone calls, there are a lot of stories that have yet to be told.
Right.
Trust me, there's a lot. So anyway, that's what I got going on, guys. It's going to be an incredible 2 nights. I hope you will all come, be a part of it, and let's have a good time.
Awesome.
Yes, and I'll do my announcement too. And thank you guys so much for congratulating us on 600. That's we appreciate it. But in 40 minutes, we've gone through the whole Friday the 13th franchise, and as anyone that has seen our videos or on my channel, we're just huge fans of the franchise, and we've taken the time to go through all 12 movies, deep dive discussion. And tonight we're going to be having our ranking of the franchise. We're going to go through the whole franchise. It's going to be a celebration for Friday the 13th. So it's going to be really, really fun. So hopefully you guys, once we get out of here in a few minutes, hope you guys, get a snack, get a drink, and come back on the Night Watch Zone and hang out with us for a little while, because it's going to be fun. I'm smiling already just thinking about the conversation, because we're just huge fans of the franchise, and it's going to be interesting to see where our rankings lie between me and Coriander and Killian. So hopefully you guys will be able to join us for that, and then obviously going over and hanging out with Steven for the rest of the night. So that'll be pretty cool. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely, guys. All right. Thank you guys so much. Bob, get it up.
Get it up.
I love it. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys helping us out with that. Seriously. Carrie says, I'll be there. I'll be there. Will you guys be there?
I'll be there.
I'll be there.
I'll be there too. I guess we'll all be there.
Get it up. Let's go. Everybody, let's go. I'll be there. Never gets old.
Right.
Never gets old.
It doesn't.
Did you see those guns, by the way, everyone?
Woo, I did.
Man.
Serious business.
I got hot. I need to take this hoodie off.
Take the hoodie off.
Oh,
man, come on.
No doubt, bro. Turn down that AC.
Wow. Thank you, Emily.
Emma says,
Night. Did you see
Fate,
Night?
You're amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that, but man.
None of us are as amazing as Mr. Knight. I'll tell you, he's reigned supreme. Let me just tell you.
He's got the arms, the voice, the looks,
everything.
He's got everything.
He has everything we don't.
Oh yeah, okay.
I literally lay there at night staring at my wall, wishing that I could be Knight. Like, just my girl's like, babe, come here, and I'm like, I'm not Knight.
Get away!
No, don't look at my arms.
No, I don't look deserve me.
Exactly.
Oh, man, you guys are crazy.
Knight. Every girl deserves Knight.
Oh my gosh.
All right. You're crazy. All right, guys. So we're gonna get ready to head out of here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We got a huge night planned on our channels, and you never know what craziness will happen. So please join us on Night Watch Zone, and also with Steven for Craving Something Scary. And we will be back on Monday as usual with Q&A Monday. So anyways, the collective has spoken. Happy Friday the 13th, and peace.
Bye, guys.
Peace.